Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Game Ren here. I'm out in my backyard once again because I've got a new toy. I now own the Darksaber, which means I officially claim ownership of Mandolore and Mandalorian people. I'm gonna move real quick because that light is gonna screw everything up. I am not joking. Alright, that's way better. So anyway, this is the Darksaber. This is the Black Series Darksaber. A friend of mine helped me find this and get a hold of it. I will say, for a Black Series, this is the best Black Series I own, and I have two of them. And the version of Darth Revan's is not the greatest, but I love this one because of the hilt. You'll see it later because I'm going to go inside and do a review on the hilt, but it glows right here, which is where the saber emits from. Now, for those who don't know, the Darksaber is not a lightsaber. It is built like a lightsaber, but it is not a lightsaber. It is instead a specially designed lightsaber by the first Mandalorian Jedi, and it was passed down from generation to generation until it was stolen by the Jedi after Tar Vizsla's death, Tar Vizsla being the one who created this very weapon. After the weapon was created and given to the hands of the Jedi, it was stolen by Death Watch. Then Death Watch lost it to Darth Maul, and Darth Maul lost it in the Rebels series. But who owns it now? The Mandalorian from the TV show The Mandalorian. A couple of the features that I really like about this lightsaber, the main one is how bright it is. Like, there's one thing I will admit, it does not swing well at all, and the blade is very thin. It is super, super thin. You can see just how thin it is. Like, it is not that wide at all. I love the sound system on this thing. It sounds amazing. It's really quiet. It is surprisingly quiet for a saber. And what I really love, you can see the little imperfections in the blade. Look, there's hints of imperfection because it wasn't a properly forged lightsaber, because it became this. Now, as far as canonical lore dictates, I believe this was forged with the Kyber crystal. So whatever Kyber crystal the Mandalorian got a hold of somehow changed the blade in its terminology. And it is really, really strange. It is an all die-cast metal hilt, and there is, if you're really gentle, flash on clash. What I think is interesting is that only up here the clash exists. It doesn't exist down here. Swinging this is a nightmare because it is very, very, very bottom heavy, but it is also extremely flimsy up here. It is very flimsy. I can even feel the LEDs like not fully sticking into the blade. I don't know if that's because of the one I bought or what. But as per the tradition of Mandalore, I claim all rights to the Mandalorian race, and I shall rule over planet Mandalore. Not as a crazy maniac like Darth Maul or Death Watch did, but I'm going to be respectful and let them choose how they want to live their lives. That would be the most appropriate thing to do. Now, if I can make this happen, I will try and show off the hilt. But the one thing I want to point out is this has tip drag. So what that means is that if you press the aux button, you can drag it along stuff and make it look like it's dragging. It does have the flash on clash, and it has blaster deflect. And blaster deflect looks different on this one than any other. Normally when a blaster deflects off of a blade, it deflects with a white light. This one is the only one I've seen that deflects with a red light. Now someone's going to ask me, well, if it's a Darksaber, then why is it emitting light? The common theory is believed that whatever is creating this black blade is absorbing all of the light around it. So when you're turning this on, any light that's around you is being sucked into the blade. Also, one thing that's very hard to notice is that it's not a rounded blade. It is a tipped blade. It is curved like a sword. So this is more like a proper saber, whereas lightsabers are rounded. Now, the one thing I do not like about this blade, the only complaint I have, because actually this is pretty cool. Actually, there's two complaints I have. One, no smooth swing. That's the only complaint with the Force FX stuff. Start getting smooth swing in your things. Seriously, it will make people want your shit more. Second of all, the speaker is right here on the hilt, and I'll show it to you guys later, but it's right where your hands will be. So when you grab the hilt, you completely muffle the sound of the blade. Unless you grab it the right way, so that your hand is not covering the speaker, then you can hear the blade. Because it's an extremely silent blade. And this is not meant for swinging around. I've tried swinging this around for a while, and it doesn't want to swing. It bends heavily. I can do a flourish with it, but I can't do, say, the Obi Annie flourish with it. Like that I can hear the blade creak when I do that. So it does not like doing any sort of combat at all. The blade is exclusively display. It is so thin. The other thing I've noticed is that if your eyes adjust to the darkness and you look at only exclusively the black half of the blade is more blue. Like if I turn it, it's very white, but if I turn it this way, it looks blue to me. I don't know if that's the LEDs or if that's just something else, but I think that is really bizarre. So we're going to go inside and we're going to look at the hilt on the stand, and we're going to kind of show off a couple of other things the blade has. So let's go check that out real quick, okay? Now that we're indoors, and I'm sitting on my sofa, we're now going to look at the hilt a little bit more. So, first things first, it's a huge hilt. It's absolutely massive, right? It is so unbelievably large. Like, this is the dummy blade emitter that comes with it, so that when you display it, you don't have to display it with the blade. Even indoors, the Darksaber is huge and bright. So, taking it off the hilt, or the stand, don't know how well you'll see this, but it does have nice detail. Here, let me see if I can bring the camera a little closer. Hold on. Oh, there you go. Now you can see it. There is a lot of really nice detailing on the hilt. The buttons are very well hidden. They're right here on this corner, right here. So it's very flush with the Saber design. The speaker, can't even see it. It sits right here. Well, maybe if I can, if I tilt it just right. There you go. These lines right here are the speakers. So when I cover them, muffles the blade sound. Now, my previous Saber, which you can actually see, it's sitting right there. That was my last Black Series saber, and I said I didn't want to get another one, but when I saw the Darksaber, I had to go pick it up. This has a really interesting way of coming apart. You actually don't just lift or pop off anything. There are Allen wrench screws, one right there and one right there, that come with an in-box Allen wrench to hold the blade together. So there's no proper there's no like disposable batteries. It's a rechargeable battery. They need to do that more often. This tactic with these Allen wrench design is so much better than the pop-off version right there, the twist and pop-off. That's annoying. This is genius. I love it. And it fits perfectly into its hilt, and for, if you want to, for long periods of time, you can display it with the blade on. And it sits two ways. Sneezing fit over with. You can display it with the curve outward or the curve inward. Sorry, I was around some cats, I guess. Must be why I'm sneezing. But you can display it two different ways. You can display it this way, or you can turn it around and display it the other way. You can kind of do that with the other sabers. You can do it with the other one, like this one right here that I have. It's hard to point at. But it's not as good looking. That one's not as good looking as this one is. The very last thing I want to point out is when the blade turns off, these turn off too. This is technically supposed to be where the crystal is. I believe, someone will correct me if I'm wrong. But this is really nice. I love this detail. A lot of sabers don't have this. A lot of sabers don't have this little window so you can see inside the blade. Now, if you look really closely with the light on, how the blade turns on, it actually emits from right here. It doesn't emit straight from the hilt. Watch. So that's another really interesting thing, because it's not emitting from the very bottom, it's emitting from here. So this side has to come down to catch up. Watch. It's really cool. That's really cool. And it stays on for like a solid few minutes when the blade is on, and then it shuts off. So hang on, give me a second. Right, so my entire house is dark now, which is spooky enough as is, but if I step back, that is how bright it is in my room. It is a extremely bright blade, and it'll stay on like that for a really long time. But this is my review of the Darksaber. If you guys want to see more videos like this, please let me know. I will definitely review other sabers in the future when I get them. But this is now my 5th lightsaber. I have this one, my custom one, which is hidden away, and my Darth Vader one. Speaking of which, he's getting a review here soon too, because apparently he's got a new helmet. Later, everyone!